Hey everyone, Erik Hodson here. It came from Webtoon time, Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Indie Volt Network. I want to welcome everybody who's listening on Indie Volt Radio, and hopefully we'll have Lord Varian come in with some numbers halfway through the show. I got an interesting story tonight. Something not seen on Webtoon and yet, because most Webtoons seem to be one story, one set of characters. Well, tonight we're featuring something that is like a serialized anthology type thing. So far, they've got three separate stories and three separate chapters, and it's pretty interesting. It comes from the horror genre, and hope you guys enjoy it. We are certainly looking forward to presenting that to you. I want to say good evening to Cameron. Hey, thanks very much for checking in with us. If you like horror, if you like stuff like heavy metal, other serialized magazines that are like anthology magazines, I think you guys will get a kick out of this. But we are going to go ahead and we are going to run that intro. All right, and we are here, and we want to say hello and hail back to Edwin the Ace. Launches January 31st. January 31st is coming up pretty quick here, Edwin, so we're going to have to get you on the main Indie Volt show and maybe do a launch party or something. That might be kind of cool. So thank you for joining us. So today we are looking at a really interesting story, and my buddy Michael will be joining us shortly. This is called Ghost Metal, and Ghost Metal is a serialized style anthology here on Webtoon. So far they've got three stories, but if I go to their main page here, it's kind of hard to see on the screen, but I'm going to read the summary for you. Our goal is to tell 100 stories across many worlds, exploring the collective unconsciousness. Like a blinding shaft of light in a pitch black room. We'll put you in the shoes of our unfortunate victims with each short story. There'll be some blood and gore, and there will also be some humor, quiet moments, and heartbreaking romance. Up every Friday, which is pretty cool. A weekly Webtoon, which is something a lot of us strive for. I know I haven't been able to post an update in a little while, but that's coming. I'm definitely going to get an update done before the end of January on Dreaded Dinosaur Man. Had a great time at Otaku Fest in Orlando, Florida over the weekend, and I was able to be down there and I was selling my anime art, and I was able to promote the Webtoon. Had a lot of people like, oh, hey, you have Webtoon, because in that crowd, just about everybody reads Webtoon. So I'm happy to pick up a few more subscribers from that. And the standee that I created worked out pretty well. It survived the trip, which was nice, and so forth. So anyway, so let's kind of dig into this book. I want to talk a little bit. I'm kind of going to go out of order because these are all different little stories. So if you can look, we're going to look right now at basically episode 7. There is a notice on this one that it's contains adult themes and mature audiences. There's Michael.
What's up, guys? Sorry, I'm running a little bit late.
No problem, man. No problem. We're kind of going a little bit out of order because I wanted to just kind of jump around a little bit because since this is an anthology.
Yeah, we can do that.
So here, this is Ghost Metal. They got kind of a neat little logo going on here. A lonely cry in space. And this picks up with episodes. So this is a 3-parter, and apparently this was originally published in Heavy Metal Magazine, which I thought was a pretty cool thing. It's always been one of my dreams to be published in Heavy Metal Magazine. So you kind of get an idea of what's going on here. So this little story here is about a space traveler on this Spaceship Odyssey. And one of the things that this webtoon does is they really stretch out time with the panels. So you find yourself scrolling quite a little bit because they're really trying to lengthen out the suspense here.
Which for horror is very good.
Yeah, definitely for horror and suspense. So we have this lonely astronaut here. This is Major Tom from the Odyssey. I'm not sure if that's not that's probably a Beatles reference.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, like, there's no way that's not intentional.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, he's just kind of like a lone man in space. Get some strange readings. The art style kind of switches up between the different stories. This one here is not bad. It's it's kind of what I would expect from independent comics for the most part. But here we go. We have this green alien chick on the outside, and this definitely has that kind of a heavy metal vibe going on. I wish this thing would catch up a little quicker here.
Oh, 1 second.
Come on.
Plug in my laptop, and my laptop just yelled at me. Saying, your battery's running low. And I went, oh, yeah, that's right.
No, for some reason, the Webtoon cam is not updating like it's supposed to.
Yeah, every now and again I've noticed that it has a little bit of lag.
I'm going to try to leave and come back with it. See if we can get it going. But anyway, so like he's got this. There we go. Now we're back.
Awesome.
So this is outside of his window in space, and I can probably assume when this was originally published in Heavy Metal, the rear of the alien woman was probably not photoshopped out like that. So
yeah, so it was probably far more graphic.
Yeah, probably a little bit more detailed, and there's probably some interesting cropping going on in the story because Heavy Metal is definitely not known for being very family friendly. And even though this has an adult warning, with Webtoon they are still pretty strict on content. Like no absolute nudity. It's got to be this kind of like amorphous look to it, which is fine. We still get the idea across of what's going on in the story here. So this creepy woman is out there, and
I like the idea of having effectively a space siren.
Yeah, exactly. Again, nice line. So this is probably a panel coming up here that was definitely cropped from the original Heavy Metal one.
Gee, I wonder if that had some more art going on there.
Yeah, it was probably a full body panel. Got Jake chiming in here, waving at us. How's it going, man?
How's it going, Jake? Thanks for joining us tonight. I also shout out to Cameron and Edwin, who I didn't get a chance to say hi to because I came in late like an unprofessional jerk. But
quite all right. We're not exactly running the most professional ship in the fleet right now, but hey, we're growing. We're getting there.
We're getting there. We're gonna be there one day. We're gonna be big kids today, Erik.
You made the connection about this being a siren song story. So you want to elaborate a little bit about like where does that originate historically? That the siren song.
Like the whole thing is that sirens run their roots back through mythology, pretty much since the frickin' beginning. Is it effectively you'd be out at sea, and there's this thing called sea madness, and effectively what a lot of guys are longing for when they're away on a voyage and surrounded by a bunch of dudes, and no way to really uh, exert themselves, uh, they start to hallucinate. And so one of the big myths that came from that are sirens, which are these beautiful women bird creatures. They you will see them either as like part bird, part woman, or some people mermaids kind of come from the siren tradition as well, where they would sing to their song to draw the sailors off the ships and into those the depths of of the ocean, and they drown. So like that was the whole deal. And so having this kind of luminescent woman out in space, she's kind of a representation of what I'd imagine you'd want to see out there, because space is this dark black void, and even though there are stars around, to have something that bright up close, and then it's a beautiful woman and everything, there's so much temptation there.
So yeah, that's exactly kind of what we're getting here with this story, and I don't want to give it away too. I really don't want to give away the end, because I definitely want you guys to check this out and then read on your own. But it doesn't end well, as most siren tales does, and I really like the ending of that, because it kind of gives you an idea that what she's been doing has kind of been going on quite a while.
Yeah, and that's also a big thing in horror, especially like little horror short stories. They shouldn't Things should be resolved by the end, but they shouldn't necessarily be. It shouldn't necessarily be a happy ending. Like, there's resolution and closure, but it's not necessarily that the good guys won or anything like that. Some of the best horror stories are the best because because the people lost, and that adds to the tragedy and the horror of it. Now the main one that I read really thought was interesting was the first one.
Yeah, let's go ahead and check out the first one then. This is called The Prophet's Curse.
So it was very interesting for me personally, because um, I had to kind of look at this from two different angles. One, I had to my study in college, the history major was French Revolution and Napoleonic Wars. Uh, so when you say, if you can scroll back up really quick, when you have your setting as Solon de Provence, France, 1792, during the height of literally the beginning of the Reign of Terror.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be like a whole thing where there's going to be a part of my mind that's going to be like, all right, let's see what you got. Because this is an area that I know quite a bit about. But then obviously there's just the standard standard review and everything like that. And from just reading the story, it's very solid. It's a great horror story. I will say that my French Revolution historian started slamming its head against the wall a few times. Because you've got this guy who kind of is dressed like a freaking French Revolution era version of the Shadow with a giant mustache.
Yeah.
Here that is very clearly working with these two idiots who are from the common class. And so the big problem with this is that this character here is very clearly like a high end person.
They're
They
highborn.
yeah, like they are nobility, and the people that he is working with are without a doubt sankulo. Like they're the peasantry. At this point in time, those two would have turned on him, thrown him in shackles, and turned him over to the Committee of Public Safety so that they could join in on the spoils of the redistribution of his estate, and that man would be put up on a guillotine to be
Ooh.
executed. So just putting that out there is my 2 cents. Like the guy is quoting like Psalms like every 10 seconds, and the Nostradamus plays a big role in this story, and this guy's a bit of a Nostradamus fanatic. So like the guy's clearly had an education that's beyond even what like the bourgeoisie would have had access to. So like, and the fact that he's reciting Psalms from the Bible, you have to remember that France, especially during this time and prior, was predominantly Roman Catholic, which meant the only way that you read the Bible is if you were a part of the clergy. So
wow, so that makes this character even deeper then, possibly.
yeah, like exactly. Like either way, like the whole point being though is this man came from like way highborn, and like that's the things. Like I'm not sure. Like I don't know if that was the intent of the writer to do that. It's not something like it. Like, and this would actually be a cool one to see if we can't get a hold of to talk to them about it, because this is something that I could literally fill an entire hour about, because it's like this was my focus. Like my whole thesis was on the flight to Varennes being the focal point that changed the revolution. Like I could literally go on like hours on this stuff. But like I would like to know like if this was intentional or if it's just me being me, because this is literally something that I studied for like 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a little column A, could be a little column B, could be one of those things where maybe they just knew enough that it baits somebody like you, and that would make a great way to add more to this story should they ever want to revisit it. Because it ends on a pretty spectacular cliffhanger.
Yeah, no, it does, and it's really fun. I had a good time with it from that other side. Like the only issues that I had with this again were the side of my brain where just like this man is working with peasants and there is not enough money in the like they're out at night, but it's like, dude, Paris didn't sleep back then. Like people were constantly out screaming in the streets during the reign of like they were like there was always a crowd of somebody going around and screaming "Vive la Révolution" and freaking like conscript like straight up conscript lists of people to be executed, giant mobs. Like it's 1792 in Paris. Louis XVI has just been beheaded. Like like the King of France has been, and his family have been murdered in the Palais de Justice. Like it's one of those things where like for me it's like that's something that could take me out of the setting.
Right.
But that's me personally, because I have that knowledge there. It's something that I actively study. But I think otherwise it's a really like this is a really fun book, and I'm having a good time reading each one of these little stories. It reminds me of like those old like Edgar Allan Poe would do those little collections of little horror short stories. Each one of them were generally anywhere between like 10 to 15 pages long.
Or the Tales of the Crypt, Dark Side, and the Crypt Keeper stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's right along those lines.
100%, and I think that they do a very good job here. The art shows a lot of range. It doesn't feel like it's the same kind of style each book. There's a little bit of identity with each one.
Exactly. Like this first one here, it's kind of like that older, like a woodcut style.
Yeah.
A lot of harsh black shadows, simple lines. It works for the story. And then with the lonely voice in space, or the lonely heart in space, that was a little bit different, a little bit more rendered. And then when we come to the third story, the art's actually even better for that one. It's more developed to like an actual Western. I think more closer to a Western comic book style.
Pulpy feel to it.
But so yeah, this interesting little part here. They find Nostradamus's corpse, and the guy who's leading this drinks wine out of his skull, thinking this is going to give him Nostradamus's powers.
Fucking Frenchman.
So that was definitely probably one of the craziest moments in this one here, drinking the wine out of the skull. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a nice, quick art style. Definitely tells the story they're doing. Really, I love the lighting and the harsh shadows, and got that dark sense to it. And again, like the pacing, where they're really stretching out the panels a lot, giving you that very apropos horror, building up the tension as you're scrolling through, waiting to get to the next one.
Yeah, no, I think that it's really good. And it's one of those things where it does build, as you said, it does build that suspense factor, because there's just these periods of black and between each moment, and it's almost like simulating like a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of things that can transpire between those things, I think that it adds a bit of atmosphere to it. And I do dig that a lot.
So before we switch to the next story, I just want to bring this artwork up a little bit closer, because this isn't really a giveaway, because they use this as their avatar for the book, or their main picture here in the little circle. So it's just pretty cool. Just really kind of this wicked skeleton.
It looks like he's wearing that Nostradamus hat from earlier.
Well, yeah. Well, this is Nostradamus.
So he's back in the second story as well.
So yeah, I would like to see more from this. I know they're trying to do 100 different short stories, but it would be cool to revisit this one. And then switching up the gears a little bit, if we go to their last story so far, and this one is called Crystal Clear. And I do want to point out, it's the art and story by Miguel Guerrera, and Susie Diaz, I believe, is the writer. So this story is a little bit different than what we've seen so far, and it tells a story of some immigrants fleeing their war-torn country into another country, and they're basically becoming like migrant slave labor in order to get some food, and they get put to work in these mines, mining for this strange red ore. I believe it's pronounced sage, not sage, but it's like SANGE. Something like that. That's here on this cover, this ruby red looking crystal. So this is a little bit deeper of a human story, where we have this family that's fleeing. You got this scenes of bombs dropping, and this is like it's not Earth. It's definitely an alien planet of some sort where this is happening. This war-torn area starts out in this really dark, dingy gray, kind of giving us the backstory that's going on here.
Kind of showcase the helplessness of everything.
Yep. As people tried to escape the ceaseless bombing, they were forced from their homes. Large migration of desperate families became an opportunity to create an underground economy fueled by virtual slave labor. Authorities seemed unwilling to do anything since the cause of the migrant crisis was the war itself. So then this is our central family here. Again, touching on some timely themes that certainly pop up in our culture. And
Yeah. But again, it's also one of those things where it's not, it's not the creators yelling at you what they believe. It's them using this as a way to tell an effective story, which is...
Yeah, absolutely. And then, we'd be blind to say that this kind of stuff doesn't happen. I mean, you look at...
Yeah.
If you look at lithium mining, it's usually small children in poor, war-torn foreign countries that are mining your lithium for your electric batteries. So yeah, this is human storytelling. So it's
100%. And I really dig the art. Like I think one of the big things that this series does is it really does showcase the range of both the main writer and the artist, because it's the same team each time.
Yeah.
And these are all wildly different types of stories, and all of them are done very competently. And they all carry weight. And in fact, I would even go as far as to say that this story right here is probably the best artistically that I've seen so far from this series.
Yeah, and we can definitely reach out to them because apparently they have a podcast called Seven Robots. Fantastically terrible podcast.
You know what?
So we'll definitely try to get a hold of them and get them out here. And this story isn't done yet. I don't think it's done because it leaves you with the mystery of, well, what's so important about this red ore that they're mining, and something happens to the family, so you want closure there. And so hopefully there's at least a few more chapters for this story. I think it's kind of I don't know, because all three of them leave you kind of wanting a little bit more, and maybe that's their purpose. They're just trying to generate as many stories that kind of just leave you with that sense of wonder. That could be the purpose entirely.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this is called Ghost Metal. They've got 178 subscribers. They have a 9.7 rating. They've had 2.7 thousand views so far. This is in Webtoon Canvas. Please give this a check out. Give it a look and read over. Maybe you'd like to sub to this and follow it. I'm certainly subbing because even if Crystal Clear is done, I want to see what their next story is, because it's really ambitious that they're trying to do 100 stories, one chapter every Friday. That's pretty ambitious.
That's pretty awesome. And they're called Seven Robots.
Yeah, Seven Robots is the creator company name.
I'm gonna see if they're up on Twitter, and if they are, I'll hit them up. Yep, they are. Found them. So we'll hopefully be able to do a part 2 where we can bring these guys on, let them know that we exist, and bring them on.
Absolutely. All right, so that was Ghost Metal. I don't want. There we go. All right, so we have other things going on. I gave a little bit of update for myself. I do have Dread Dinosaur Man to get out before the end of the month for the next chapter, but I did get some more subscribers. I was set up at the Otaku Fest and got some more subs from it. How are you wrapping up with the Elysian Fields stuff?
Well, we've got 15 hours left on Elysian Fields' Deluxe Edition Kickstarter, and we are 70% funded of a $2,500 stretch goal with $1,767 raised, 48 backers. And yeah, no, like this is pretty incredible. 14 hours left to go. This will be wrapping up here some point, like early afternoon tomorrow.
Yeah, so we really need to push this. So if you guys are listening tonight, please check out the Kickstarter here for Elysian Fields Deluxe Collector's Edition. They are at 1767 of a 2,500. Was it 2,500 goal? Am I reading that?
Yeah, no, we're right there, and
yeah, you're so close. You're so close. So you guys can help put this over the top easily.
And we did. If anyone that's listening is a big art collector, we just added 2 original pieces, one by Scott Rosema and one by Kevin Sharp. Kevin Sharp did our Dragon Guard cover, so we have that original art, which is a traditional 11 by 17 piece with pencils and inks, and so that's our main cover. And then if you scroll down, this is the one that you just scrolled down by. This one right here is the Kevin Sharp cover. It obviously won't be colored; it'll be black and white.
Right. So this is the original art that they could own.
Yes, and they'll get a copy of that cover of the book along with it, and then the Scott Rosema cover, which is the cover for the deluxe edition of the book, is that one right there. So that original piece, I think it's even larger than 11 by 17, and it's Scott's original pencils.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. And so for that, each of those, if both of those sell tonight, will be funded. So just to put that idea out there for people, plant the seed.
Okay, and this is the deluxe edition. So what else comes with the deluxe edition? What's the
so
give us the rundown of what the actual deluxe is.
The deluxe edition it combines the 0 issue and Pyramid Gambit, and you have an extensive art gallery along with the character glossary. So that art gallery has all of our character concepts, all of our pinups, variant covers, you name it. And so that book, all in all, is 104 pages. So it's pretty big. And it's a great collector piece. It's a fantastic way to start off and get into the series because you get both the 0 issue and Pyramid Gambit, and you get to read it seamlessly in one go.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. All right. So you guys heard it. If you're listening out there, please get on the Kickstarter and get this. Let's get this to its goal. It's too close to not make it happen.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that we pull through on it. Like we should be able to, and with your guys' support, I know we can.
Awesome. Well, that's going to wrap things up for the show today. Don't forget to check out Ghost Metal on Webtoon. We highly recommend that. I want to give another shout out to Jake. He's been commenting up a storm here for us. He thinks I run the ship just fine, Captain Harlock. I like that as a nickname for myself. That was my very first anime that I ever got into and watched, and still close to my heart.
And Jake, we need to get you on here because he's got his Webtoon. So we need to do that. We need to get him on to talk about that at some point here soon. I haven't forgotten about you, Jake.
Yeah, he gives us a good luck on Elysian Fields and DD, and thank you very much for the support. We definitely appreciate that. And that's another thing is that we really need to double down and get an interview started with somebody here. Any luck reaching out to the guy from Seasons?
He's trying to make sure that his schedule comes together. Like he wants to make sure that he can come on and everything. He's all down to come on. It's just a matter of getting him on the right day. Excellent.
All right. Well, cool. Certainly we'll look forward to making stuff like that happen whenever we can. And he said
it's not his, it's his buddy. That's right. My bad.
At Sideburns. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap things up for today. Thank you for joining us tonight. Didn't get any sort of update, I don't think, on numbers. No, nothing in there. So Varian might be sleeping. He might be on his meds or something. So
we all know the real reason. Varian's just slacking.
So make sure you tune in again tomorrow night, Tuesday night, for Indie Volt Live Wire. I will be on. I'll give you a full rundown of Otaku Fan Fest, the anime con that I did in sunny South Florida. And I miss it. I came back up to Detroit. It's 25 degrees out. We had snow tonight. So it was 75 and sunny all weekend. And I loved every minute of it. But thank you. And we will be back here next Monday with another webtoon to run down through, and maybe even an interview if we can get ourselves lucky. So until then, thank you very much. And thanks always to my buddy Michael here for co-hosting. We do love reading these things, and we love telling you about them.
Always a pleasure, Erik. And thanks for thanks for all of you guys out there in the chat hanging out with us tonight.
Awesome. Have a good night, and we'll see you back here next week for It Came from Webtoon.